Hi again, everybody. This is Dr. Amy Chai, and I'm here with Dr. Chai FMI, which stands for Free Medical Information. And today I'm going to talk to you about another question that I have seen. And that question is, will vaccines work against COVID-19 mutations? So this is a super important question, and I will give it a stab, try to answer a little bit for you. And I'm going to answer it using three different topics. The first one is, what is a mutation? The second one is, how do viruses mutate? And the third is, are our vaccines, our currently existing vaccines, are they going to work against COVID-19 vaccines? So let's get started. First of all, what is a mutation? A mutation is nothing more than a quality control issue. Mistakes will be made. Whenever something is copied, mistakes will be made. So a mutation is nothing more than an error in the genetic code. And I kind of want to express what that means, with a little bit of an analogy. I once was asked to volunteer for my child's kindergarten class. And I said, yay, I'm going to be a parent volunteer. This is going to be so fun. I thought I was going to read fun stories to cute children. But instead, the teacher comes up to me and this is what she gives me. She's like, Mrs. Chai, can you please cut out 100 capital letter A's for me out of construction paper? And I was like, sure, that sounds like loads of fun. So I did it. I'm just such a good parent. I just can't believe how good I am. But anyway, the first letter that I cut out, it was pretty good. It was like a nice quality A. It was like a perfect A. I copied it. I cut it out. It looked really good. It took me 10 minutes to do this, and I was like, oh, I only have 99 more to go. So the second one, I started to cut a little bit faster and a little bit faster. And then I started putting a whole bunch of them together to try to cut them all at once. And then I would rip one and it would come out like this, and I'm like, ugh, well, this is not really gonna work. So I had to throw the bad ones out. But then again, there was the little mistakes, I mean, it was just a little divot here, and it's that's gonna be just fine. Just a little mistake. I think that'll be okay. But you can see maybe a child trying to copy this letter A might accidentally turn this letter into an R because it's just a little mistake on the A. But this got by my quality control. So a mutation is nothing more than a mistake. It's a copying error, and it just happens because everybody makes mistakes. Even viruses make mistakes. We all make mistakes. So the first question is, what's a mutation? Nothing but quality control problems. Okay, the second question is, well, how do viruses mutate? Well, viruses have a set rate at which they mutate, which is basically just a constant rate of error that they make while they're trying to copy the genetic material in the cell, okay? So viruses, because they reproduce so fast and there's so many of them, they really have a pretty high rate of accidents when they copy their genetic material. Now, RNA viruses are probably the worst because they make tons of errors in their genetic copies. So they're actually one of the highest mutation rates. And COVID itself is an RNA virus, and it does have a lot of mutation rates. That's a constant rate of mistakes that it makes when it reproduces itself inside your body. But these mutations are actually less than other RNA viruses. So it's really not that bad when it comes to being how bad it is at mutating a lot. So let me just show you a little bit about what it means to mutate a virus RNA. So this is part of a genetic code, and you're going to have adenine, guanine, cytosine, uracil, cytosine, guanine, adenine. This is just a little strip of theoretical RNA. These are called like nucleotides. And this is the pattern that the virus uses to create the proteins in the cell that it needs to reproduce. And each 3 letters makes up for 1 protein, okay? So the virus is copying just millions and millions and millions of this code. And sometimes that virus is going to make a little mistake, just like I made cutting out those letters. So the virus mistake, let's just say these 3 letters, U, U, and C, that codes for a protein, an amino acid that's called phenylalanine, okay? So let's just imagine that the virus is copying and it it messes up this C, okay? And instead, let me get another color marker here. Instead of putting a C there, maybe it goes ahead and puts another U, okay? So now it's U, U, U instead of U, U, C. But U, 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 it also codes for phenylalanine, so there's no change in the protein, and that's good. That's a mutation that doesn't actually cause any change to the virus. So we're in luck there. Now, what if the virus accidentally copies it instead of U, U, U? Maybe it puts an A here instead of a C. So we're going to put an A here. Oops, we put an A. Oh no, instead of a C. And what happens? UUA stands for leucine, which is a completely different protein from phenylalanine. Oh no. So what do we have? We have a protein that has a leucine instead of a phenylalanine. And that protein is a different protein. And if the protein is different enough, it can actually change the function of the protein, the structure of the protein. It can make the protein different, okay? So whenever a mistake is made in the copying of the viral RNA, you can actually have a mistake that happens, and the mistake might change the protein that's made, and that can be a bad thing. So most mutations that you're going to see are going to be lethal. So most of the mutant proteins are going to kill their virus. Just like, like this mutant here, this mutant A is forget it, round file. That is a useless, okay? So that's a mutation. A lot of the mutations just end up killing the virus, making it weaker, making it worse, okay? But on the other hand, sometimes there's a little bit of a change that actually just changes the virus. Like it makes this A into an R accidentally. And maybe that virus is going to be more virulent or more lethal or somehow more dangerous. And that is how viruses mutate. So it's nothing more than quality control as it's copying its genome inside your cell. So will vaccines work against viral mutations? There's 3 most common ones. The most common ones now include the United Kingdom B117, which is 50% more catching or virulent than the one that we have here in the US. And the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines seem to work fine against the UK version. They took blood from people who'd been vaccinated and it seemed to work fine. So I think we're safe against the UK variant. Now the AstraZeneca vaccine went from 84% effective to 74% effective against the UK. So there is a little decrease in some of the vaccines against the UK virus variant. Now there's also the South African variant, which is the B1351, and the Moderna and Pfizer did some of those serological studies on that, and there is some decreased efficacy against the South African variant. And Johnson & Johnson vaccine saw their efficacy go from 72% all the way down to 57% against the South African variant. So that's going to be a little bit worse of a mutation, okay? And then the Brazil variant is kind of similar to the South African variant. So how are we going to stop mutations? There's a way to stop mutations. The way to stop mutations is to stop letting viruses reproduce, because you can't get any kind of a mutation without a reproducing virus, because remember, it's just a copying error. Nothing more, nothing less, but a copying error. It's quality control. So stop the virus from reproducing and the mutations will stop. Now, how are we going to stop that? We are going to stop it by vaccinating everyone as fast as we possibly can, and until then and now to mask until we have everybody vaccinated. And so that's the fastest and best way to stop mutations is don't let a virus into your body, or you will become a little petri dish where the virus can breed and replicate and make mistakes and maybe actually make, some sort of a mutant inside your body. So stop the virus, get vaccinated, wear a mask, okay? Now, what to do about the existing mutations? We already have some mutations, and what do we do about those? Do we have to wear a mask forever? No, I don't think we do. We may have to get booster shots at some point, but at some point we'll have it under control. It'll be fine. I think we're safe here in the U.S. We have some of the UK virus here. As soon as we get everybody vaccinated in the U.S., I think we're going to be good. We also know that people with natural infection maybe have a little bit less resistant to some of the mutants, so definitely get vaccinated if you already had COVID. But we'll handle it. The best thing we're going to do is to stop the virus from reproducing, and then we won't have any mutants anymore. So where there's a will, there's a way, and we'll stop COVID-19. So thanks for listening. Bye-bye.